Last view in the 2900 to 2949 series. It was actually 2948, I do believe. And it's going to be our lead-in for the NGC 2950 to 2999 series, which is a series that you pretty much want to wrap up before the vernal equinox in spring, so that you can get a good head start on all the complexity of galaxies from 3000 to 6000 by, if you want to catch them approaching culmination, by the summer solstice. Anyway, I did adjust the histogram on this manually. I'm going to pop the auto button now so you can see the difference. There we go. Brings out more detail, but ugly. Anyway, I like the detail. Can always fuss around with it when I actually turn it into a video. Okay, to be clear, the time is now 9:25 on the 19th of March. Tomorrow morning will be the vernal equinox. It's 2026. This is a nice sky tonight, much better than the last couple of nights. Yes, last night started off poorly and then improved, but not as good as this. What we're looking at here is a 105x view of NGC 2951, a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 15. Now, it's probably this fainter one here. We're going to end up capturing both of them, no doubt. 0.5 by 0.5 arc-minute sized elliptical, 216 million light years distant. Means this is elliptical. It's only about 35,000 light years in diameter. But, it's at right ascension 93940 with a declination almost spot on the celestial equator, but minus south, 14 minutes and 7 seconds. Now, I pressed the Go To on the handset, Gemini 2 handset, expecting it not to move hardly at all, but boy, it made a big jump. We're now looking at NGC 2952, a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 15.8, 0.8 by 0.4 arc minutes, spiral that's been disturbed. Now, it's kind of hard to tell what its actual visual magnitude is, but we can assume it's somewhere around magnitude 15. 414 million light years distant means it has a size of maybe 105,000 light years in diameter, RA 93736 with a declination of minus 10, 1101. A good view for such a faint galaxy, minus 10 degrees in southern declination. NGC 2954 is a galaxy, and they seem to be drifting off towards the north a little bit. In Leo, magnitude 12.4, 1.7 by 1.1 arc-minute, elliptical, 173 million light years distant, maybe 65,000 light years in diameter, RA 94024 with a declination of plus 14, 55, 20. NGC 2955 is quite apparent on the 30x screen, 1.5 by 0.7 arc-minute, 2:1 aspect ratio. A galaxy with a lowercase b, 320 million light years distant, puts this larger than Messier 31, maybe 160,000 light years. RA is 94116, declination plus 35, 52, 58. There's our look. NGC 2956 is a galaxy in, maybe here, let's check it out, in Hydra, magnitude 14.4, 0.9 by 0.3 arc minutes in size. Spiral with lowercase b, 430 million light years distant, puts this one at maybe 140,000 light years diameter, RA 93917, with a declination of minus 19 degrees, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. NGC 2958 is quite apparent on the screen. It's a galaxy in Leo, magnitude 13.2, 1 by 0.8 arc minutes, spiral with a bar, lowercase bc, 299 million light years distant, so about the size of our Milky Way, maybe 90,000 light years in diameter. RA is 94041, declination plus 11, 53, 17. Okay, been skipping over a few galaxies in Draco and Ursa Majoris along the way. Let's see what we got now. This one's centered up quite good, however. It's a galaxy in Hydra, Magnitude 12.4, 1.8 by 1.2 arc minutes, spiral with lowercase a, 221 million light years distant, maybe 130,000 light years in diameter. RA 94036 with a declination of +3, 34, 35. NGC 2962 is another visible galaxy at 75 arc minute square 30x field of view. It's a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 11.9, brightest one yet, I think, so far this 50 series. 2.6 by 2 arc minutes, spiral with bar, lenticular A, and an annularity. And I always manage to go up to 150x to see if we can make out the frontier when they're on a ringed galaxy. 95 million light years distant puts this maybe 75 to 80,000 light years in diameter. RA 94054, declination +5, 0957, and that annularity is somewhat visible. You can see the spiral arms wrapping around and hugging itself. It is worthy galaxy, NGC 2962. Might want to call this the Saturn galaxy. NGC 2964 is an even brighter galaxy than the last one I mentioned. Galaxy in Leo, magnitude 11.33 by 1.7 arc minutes. Do I have to tell you this has a ring? Spiral with a bar, lowercase bc, ring. 67 million light years distant. 70,000 light years roughly in diameter. RA 94254, declination +31, 50, 49. It has a companion. We do need to push up a magnification and have that view. Maybe we can make an exit view of this if I can remember. Help remind me, 2964. NGC 2965 is barely suspected in the 30x field. Pushing it up. It's a galaxy in Leo Minor, magnitude 13.4, 1.2 by 0.9 arc minutes, lenticular spiral, 304 million light years distant, makes sense. That puts it at about 90,000 light years in diameter. RA, maybe even 100. RA 94319 with a declination of +36, 14, 52. NGC 2966 is kind of suspected there in the middle of the field, and it does reveal itself. Galaxy in Sextans. I think this may be the first one in Sextans we've seen. Magnitude 12.6, 2.2 by 0.9 arc minutes. It is an edgy on. We're going to push the magnification up. Spiral with a bar, lowercase bc, 93 million light years distant, maybe 70,000 light years in diameter. RA 94211, declination +4 degrees, 40 minutes, 24 seconds. Who would have thought Sextans went that far north? NGC 2967 is another galaxy quite obvious in Sextans. Its magnitude 11.6, 2.8 by 2.8 arc minutes. Let's push the magnification up so we can get an idea of what a galaxy looks like without a ring. Just kind of a diffuse dissipation of luminosity out into space. 89 million light years distant. Smallish core, spiral lowercase c, RA 94203 with a declination of almost spot on the celestial equator of 0 degrees, 20 minutes, and 8 seconds. NGC 2968 is two obvious galaxies in the field. The brighter one is 2968 because its magnitude 11.7, 2.1 by 1.6 arc minutes. Spiral with a lowercase a, 72 million light years distant, so maybe 50,000 light years in diameter. RA 94311 with a declination of +31, 55, 42. We're getting some really good views. The sky is quite nice this evening, despite the presence of high, thin clouds at eventide. Centering it all up for a 150x view. Eenie, Father Bear, Mother Bear, and just right, Goldilocks Bear. NGC 26 2969 is a galaxy in sextants. Didn't notice, probably not visible initially. 1.4 by 1.2 magnitude 13 galaxy, spiral with a lowercase c, 222 million light years distant. So maybe 70,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 94154 with a declination of -8, 36, and 12. NGC 2970 is that second galaxy in the very fine, I think it was 68, 69, 68, 67, I don't know. Galaxy in Leo, magnitude 13.6. You know what? This has got to be it because it's only 0.4 by 0.3 arc minute elliptical. Wow. It's an elliptical class 1, so slightly oblate, 74 million light years distant. Kind of tiny. Probably no more than 20,000 light years in diameter. RA is 94330 with a declination of plus 3158, 36, adventuresindeepspace.com, and learn how to map out this galaxy group, which includes NGC 2970. Getting my first hints of chill this evening. We're looking for NGC 2971, a galaxy in Leo Minor, magnitude 14, 1.1 by 0.8 arc minute, spiral with a capital B bar and a lowercase b for the core. 309 million light years distant, so probably about 90,000 light years in diameter. Milky Way size, RA 94346, with a declination of plus 36, 1045. And there is our look. Now, we've got a brighter core galaxy here, which probably is a lenticular or elliptical, and this is probably our spiral. This is our lowercase b galaxy, NGC 2971. Okay, this galaxy is a little out of our range. It's at minus 30 degrees, 8 minutes, 55 seconds, but that sky looks spectacular. It's a galaxy in Antler. I guess that's the antlers. Magnitude 14, 1.3 by 0.7 arc minutes. Spiral with a lowercase a. If that's our galaxy, it blows me away because I don't think we can see galaxies 3 magnitudes fainter than they are overhead when we get down to minus 30, but that one is doing really well. So this is a very good night. RA 93759 with a declination of minus 30, 0855. Let's make sure we get that 105x view. Wow, what a night. NGC 2974, looks like we have something traversing the field, is a galaxy in sextants. It's also 2652. We should have captured this one already. Magnitude 10.9, 3.4 by 2.1 arc minute. Spiral with lowercase a, 89 million light years distant. Let's move on. Now halfway through, at 13 minutes and 10 seconds, is NGC 2975, galaxy in Hydra. Whoa, if that's it, okay. It's supposed to be a magnitude 15, 0.7 by 0.6 arc minutes. Now, that looks like a magnitude 15, not anything else. Lenticular spiral. This one happens to be 714 million light years distant. Puts it about 180,000 light years in diameter. For a lenticular, quite large, but you'd expect it at that distance to be quite large. RA is 94116 with a declination of minus 164027. I'm going to push the magnification up for a final look and we'll move on. NGC 2978, I'm seeing a couple of galaxies in the field. Let's see, 3 of them actually, north to south. 2978 is yet to give me data. It's a galaxy in sextants, magnitude 13.5, 1.1 by 0.9, so pretty much face on. Spiral with a lowercase bc, should have a fairly faint core. I'm inclined to this one, but the aspect ratio is better there. 81 million light years distant, so this one's about let's say 30,000 light years in diameter. RA 94316 with a declination of minus 944, 50, 45. NGC 2979 is also NGC 3050, and the last time I saw this happen, somebody messed up the RA in their log. a typographical error. Galaxies in sextant, magnitude 14, 1.5 by 1, so fairly large for a 14th magnitude. Spiral with a lowercase a, 120 million light years distance, so not intrinsically particularly large, maybe 50K. RA is 943.08 with a declination of minus 1023.02. Now I haven't done a zoom in yet on this one. It seems pretty bright. It is a lowercase a, so it should have a well-defined core. No bar though. Anyway, that's our view of NGC 2979/3050. We'll be seeing you again. NGC 2980 is suspected in the field. There's a couple of galaxies. Oh yeah, I think we saw this group of 3 previously. I'll line them up. This one seems to have an annularity. It's a galaxy in sextants, magnitude 13, 1.6 by 0.8. That's likely to be it there. That's really weird because it's actually more west than the others are, but that does happen. Spiral with a bar, lowercase bc. I don't know. It's a BC. Maybe it's this one here. 1.6 by 0.8, 258 million light years distance, so maybe 110,000 light years in diameter. RA 943.12 with a declination of minus 936.46. I did expect things to start drifting to the north, however, as we progressed. So take your pick. There's also a faint ghostly galaxy right there. TheSkyLive.com should help. You can also check out AdventuresInDeepSpace.com for Steve Gottlieb's well-considered observations on all things NGC and apparently IC as well. NGC 2981 doesn't seem to be presenting anything, maybe something vague right there. Let's have a look. And that's it. Whatever this is pretty faint. It's a galaxy in Leo, magnitude 13.6, 1.2 by 1 arc minute, spiral with a bar, lowercase bc, and an annularity. This galaxy is 480 million light years distant, putting it about 175,000 light years in diameter, RA 944.56, with a declination of plus 3105.53. NGC 2983? Yeah, that could be it. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah. I like it. Next to a bright star, probably 4th magnitude, galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 11.8, 2.5 by 1.4 arc minute, spiral with bar, lenticular A, 94 million light years distance, so maybe 95,000 light years in diameter. RA 943.41 with a declination of minus 20, 28, and 39. Warranting a zoom in at 150x and capturing all the photonage possible. NGC 2984, I'm not seeing much of anything there. Oh, it's looming now, but it's quite faint with extensions, tight core. Galaxy in Leo, magnitude 13.4, 0.7 by 0.7 arc minutes, which probably explains why we couldn't see it. It looked like a star. Spiral, the lenticular class, 279 million light years distant, maybe 65,000 light years in diameter, RA 943.40 with a declination of plus 1103.39. Pushing it up and heading out. NGC 209086 is pretty apparent in the field. A couple of galaxies actually, but the one we're looking at is very bright. It's galaxy in Hydra. Magnitude 10.8, probably the brightest galaxy of the evening, largest too, 3.5 by 3 arc minutes. It's an elliptical class 1, 100 million light years distant, puts it about 100,000 light years in diameter. RA is 944.16 with a declination of minus 21 degrees, 16 minutes and 43 seconds. Giant globular cluster. Okay, we be approaching 10 o'clock. In fact, we are at 10 o'clock. And we are going to look for a galaxy, and it'll probably be up for another 15 minutes at this, for NGC 2987, galaxy sextans, magnitude 12.9, 1.5 by 0.7, 2 to 1 aspect ratio, spiral lowercase ab, 168 million light years distance. Right ascension 945.41 with a declination of plus 4, 56.30, and the right ascension is about 15 minutes less than the actual hour of the evening in Pacific Daylight Savings Time. NGC 2988, I'm seeing a galaxy from the beginning there, and we should have seen this one except it looked too star-like, is a galaxy in Leo, magnitude 14.5, 0.9 by 0.2 arc minutes. More likely to be this Aegean-looking galaxy. Spiral with a bar, spiral with a BC, lowercase, 339 million light years distant, RA 94647, declination plus 22 and degrees and 42 seconds. I may be repeating myself here. The mount just ran away. Let's see if this galaxy looks familiar. It's NGC 2986, Galaxy Hydra. Yeah, I believe it is 10.8 by 3.5 by 3, arc minute E1. Let's move on. Okay, I've leapt to NGC 2989, but there's no guarantee that I didn't leap right over a couple of studies I hadn't imaged, because the mount ran away, and then when you recover from it, you lose whatever was the last galaxy or NGC number you saw. This is a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 13, 1.7 by 0.9, spiral with lowercase bc, 184 million light years distant, 945.25, with a declination of minus 1822.26. We may have seen this one before, however. NGC 2990 is quite visible in the field. Oh, I don't think we saw this one before. I might have remembered it. Galaxy in Sextans, magnitude 12.7. It's got some texture in it. 1.1 by 0.6 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase c. Yeah, it doesn't have much of a core. 138 million light years distant, maybe 40,000 light years in diameter. Has a neighbor, too. RA 946.17 with a declination of plus 542.32. It warrants a little bit more magnification before we head up. Okay, we just had another runaway, and it typically happens when things are culminating. And so what we're seeing here is probably a culminating galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 12.2, 3.7 by 0.9 arc minutes. Spiral with lowercase a, 100 million light years distant. RA 945.41 with a declination of minus 1419.36. 2992 had a neighbor, 2993. It's a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 12.6, 1.8 by 1.2. Spiral with a lowercase a. This one looks more like a lowercase a than that one, so maybe they got them switched. 105 million light years distant, RA 945.48, declination minus 1422.07. Consult with Steve. NGC 2994 was quite visible from the outset. Actually, there's two galaxies. I suspect this is the one that is 2994. Galaxy Leo, magnitude 13.1, 1.3 by 1 arc minute, lenticular spiral, 330 million light years distant, maybe 100,000 light years in diameter. RA 947.16 with a declination of plus 22.05.21. NGC 2996 is another southerly galaxy. It's in Hydra, magnitude 12.5, 1.5 by 1.3, spiral with lowercase a, 392 million light years distance, big as Messier 31, 150K. RA 946.30 with a declination of minus 2134.19, pushing up the magnification, dropping it back down to our 105x 20 arc minute field. Okay, we're as far north as we're going to get this evening. You're seeing reflected light off a roof try for NGC 2998. It's a galaxy in Ursa Majoris. Can't really make out anything because the cores would look like stars under these conditions. It's magnitude 12.5, 2.7 by 1.2 arc minutes, spiral with a bar, lowercase c. 221 million light years distant, puts this one about 190,000 light years in diameter. Pretty big. RA 948.43 with a declination of plus 44 degrees, 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Let's see if there is a 2998. No, there is not. NGC 3000 is a star in Ursa Majoris. 3001, I'm kind of pushing it up to find something that may be of real interest. Something very bright, very large, that we can go out on. And let me pause this out while I do this research. Oh, by the way, this is probably that NGC 2998 Galaxy. As I continue to thumb through, I'm already up to NGC 3041. I'm going to keep pushing it. Okay, I had to do a lot of thumbing through to find this galaxy. It's NGC 3109 in Hydra. It's magnitude 9.9, but it's huge. 19.7 by 3.4 arc minute. Edge-on galaxy. Looks like pretty much a 4:1, 5:1 aspect ratio. Unfortunately, we have a color bar, but we can eliminate that by going to 50% E-zoom, which should be 75x. Now, this is okay view for 5-second exposure, but let's try something else. Okay, a single pass stack of a 10-second exposure still makes NGC 3109 look pretty ghostly. And interestingly enough, there's a star right in the middle of it. Let me give you some information. It's an irregular galaxy, 3.9 million light years away, which means it's roughly at about the distance of the Triangulum galaxy. Messier, I believe it's 34. But maybe we'll get an even better view with a little more exposure time. We've had 4 stacks. Okay, this is a 30-second exposure. This galaxy obviously is within the local group. It reminds me a little of Barnard's galaxy. That's in Sagittarius that E. Barnard actually discovered with a 6-inch telescope, and I have personally seen it through a 6-inch at low power. What we're going to do now is we're going to give it one more stack, and you're going to see it happen. And it should have at 30 seconds, and let's push to 60. It'll be a while before it pops up at 60-second exposure, but I just did a little mental calculation about the average surface brightness of this galaxy. It's roughly 20 by 3.5 arc minutes. 20 times 3 is 60.5 is 70, which means there's probably about a 4 magnitude difference in terms of its overall spread. So if you add 4 magnitudes to magnitude 9.9 or 10, you get an average surface brightness of about magnitude 14. If you add 14 and 10 together, you get a magnitude average brightness of about 12. This should turn up on a good night of seeing through a 6-inch telescope, which is similar to Barnard's galaxy, but it's got to be low power on a very highly translucent night of sky. We just got a first or second stack, probably a first stack of a 60-second exposure. The stars are starting to distend a little bit. So I'm going to try a 120-second exposure as a tag, but I'm going to call it Carpe Noctem right now. An NGC 3109 Galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 9.9, 19.7 by 3.4 arc minutes. 3.9 million light-year distant irregular galaxy. Not much of a core. I'm going to give you a 105x view there. At RA 10:03:05, we're now in the 10th hour, declination minus 26 degrees, 9 minutes, 27 seconds. I don't think I'm going to bother with the 120-second exposure. We're already getting distension on stars, and with that, I'm going to say a conclusive Carpe Noctem.